again, friends, and welcome to this Saturday edition of myself reading the book that I wrote, Legends, Orbs of the Elements. I'm glad you decided to join me for chapter 13. As you cannot tell if you can tell by my background, today is the second and final day of Dia de Muertos. I have my sugar skulls, the flowers that represent marigolds. They're not really marigolds, but they're more fall decorations, but I figured it's close enough. I've got lots of cool Dia de Muertos, sugar skulls, and Day of the Dead decorations. Again, I just really think this is an awesome, cool holiday, and it kind of is my culture a little bit. And I just like to be festive. So, if you are interested in purchasing the book that I wrote, I will be telling you all the fun, juicy details after the end of the video. So, without further ado, let's just jump back into this adventure. Chapter 13. Castilia's arms were tied to two large ropes. The cave smelled of decaying bodies. On one side, there was a giant mountain of jewels, gold, and gems. Greedy things, Castilia thought to herself. The only light source came from the entrance to the cave. She could hear the gnomes snickering and licking their mouths, knowing what was to come. When a brave gnome would come close, she would lash out and give him a hefty kick that sent him sprawling back into the onlookers. This, however, only seemed to provoke them more. They gripped their short swords and ran up and struck her somewhere, then ran back into the mob, laughing merrily. She understood this. It was a game to them. They all watched to see who could do it the fastest. This made her burn with anger. When the next gnomes came close, she thrashed about wildly and dug into its flesh when it came close, using her mouth. The gnome yelped out in shock, panic, and pain. It took a hefty dozen gnomes now to bind her arms to the ground with wooden spikes that one would use to tie up. It took half a dozen gnomes to now bind her legs to the ground with wooden spikes like the ones used to tie her arms. The game then proceeded until Castilia had blacked out from the blow to the head. When she woke again, the gnomes were all gathered around something, and their backs were facing her. A blood-curdling cry arose, and Castilia closed her eyes. She knew they were consuming something. She guessed it was one of their own. By the awful sound, it did not have long for this world. When she opened her eyes again, they were fighting and consuming each other. Castilia had gotten desensitized to seeing blood and carnage before, but this eating frenzy was too much, and she couldn't hold her stomach back no longer. She vomited in several intervals until her stomach had nothing left. Ooh, so that's all the chapter for today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big like, subscribe, share with friends and family. That really helps me out a lot. If you are interested in purchasing this book and get to either read by yourself or read along with me, it can be found on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Apple iBooks, and lots of other places books are sold. I also have a Facebook website dedicated to all things related to this story. I try and write an article a day about different topics about my book. I try to keep them all spoiler free. So an example of a couple of articles that I wrote, the topics include how I came up with the names of Leon and Castilla. Another topic is on how I created and crafted Prince Nero, Queen Rifa, and the Wizard Blinken. I dive sort of into their psyche, sort of, and how they are and do the things they do up until this point. Again, I try to keep everything spoiler free. Another article I wrote was about coming up with how I created the different territories. So again, if you are interested in that, please, please, please go check it out, like it. I try and do an article Monday through Friday, all about different things. So if you're interested, please, like I said, please go check it out. I am also writing a follow-up story to this book. So the adventure, if you like this story, there is a sequel in the works. I try to share all the information and whatnot on my TikTok account, which is Idaho Disney Book Dragon. So if you're interested, go check stuff out there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy reading this book or hearing this story. I put my heart and soul into this and I love sharing it. Like I said, thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, listening to my reading. I know sometimes I mess up in the reading part, but oh well, I try my best. And that's, like I said, that's all the video for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video for chapter 14. Bye-bye for now, everybody.